Is this Priya Sharma? The unfamiliar voice on the phone was hesitant, careful, like someone approaching a wild animal they didn't want to spook. It was 11:47 p.m. on my 30th birthday, a birthday my entire family had forgotten, and I'd already cried myself through half a bottle of cheap wine while watching my mother's Instagram story of the impromptu family brunch they had without me. What this stranger said next would split my life into a clean before and after. I'm your biological father, and I've been searching for you for 28 years. Let me back up to the beginning of this train wreck of a day. I woke up at 6:30 a.m. with that stupid, hopeful feeling you get on your birthday even when you're 30 and should know better. My phone had no notifications. No happy birthday texts. No missed calls. Nothing. They're sleeping in, I told myself. It's Saturday. They'll call later. I made coffee in my tiny studio apartment in Queens, the one I could barely afford on my administrative assistant salary. Through the thin walls, I could hear my neighbor's TV, some morning show cooking segment. I checked my phone again. Still nothing. By 9 a.m., I'd checked social media obsessively. My mother Sandra had posted a photo of her morning smoothie with the caption, Self-Care Saturday. My stepfather Raj had shared an article about real estate investment strategies. My half-brother Vikram had posted a gym selfie. My half-sister Mira had uploaded a video of her new apartment, the one Raj and Mom had helped her buy. None of them had texted me. Maybe they're planning a surprise, I thought desperately. Maybe that's why they're being so quiet. I spent the morning cleaning my apartment, checking my phone every 5 minutes. By noon, I'd convinced myself they were definitely planning something. By 2 p.m., that conviction was wavering. By 4 p.m., I was starting to feel sick. At 4:47 p.m., my mother posted to her Instagram story. It was a photo of a restaurant table, one of those trendy brunch places in Manhattan that serves $20 avocado toast. Sandra, Raj, Vikram, and Mira were all there, smiling, glasses of mimosas raised. The caption, Impromptu Family Brunch. Sometimes the best days are unplanned. 2 hearts. I stared at that photo for a full minute, my brain refusing to process what I was seeing. They were together. All of them. Having family time. On my 30th birthday. Without me. I called my mother. It went to voicemail. I called again. Voicemail. I texted, hey, are we doing anything today? No response. I tried Vikram. Straight to voicemail, like he declined the call. Mira didn't even have read receipts on, so I couldn't tell if she'd seen my message. By 6 p.m., I was lying on my couch, staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out what I'd done wrong. Had I offended someone? Forgotten an important event? Been too busy with work to attend something? I scrolled through our family text chain. The last message was from 3 days ago, Mira sending photos of paint swatches for her new apartment. I'd responded with enthusiasm, the sage green is gorgeous. No one had replied to me. I went further back. 2 weeks ago, Vikram had asked if anyone wanted his old couch. Raj had said he'd take it. I'd offered to help move it. They'd made plans without including me in the final thread. A month ago, Mom had sent a photo of her and Raj at a charity gala. I'd commented that they looked beautiful. 3 people had hearted the photo. No one had hearted my comment. I was the ghost in the family text chain. Present but not really seen. Acknowledged but not really included. The realization settled over me like a heavy blanket. I was an afterthought. No, I was less than an afterthought. I was the leftover piece that didn't quite fit the puzzle they'd made after Mom remarried. See, my mother Sandra had me when she was 19. My biological father, whoever he was, had apparently disappeared before I was born. Mom never talked about him. When I was 2, she married Raj, a successful commercial real estate developer. They had Vikram when I was 4, Mira when I was 6. Raj was never cruel to me. He just wasn't really a father to me. He was polite. Distant. He paid for things when necessary but never came to my school plays. He coached Vikram's soccer team but never asked about my interests. He took the family to Disney World when I was 12 and somehow I ended up sitting alone on most of the rides because the real family fit perfectly in groups of 4. Mom tried, in her way. But after Vikram and Mira came along, her attention divided unequally. The squeaky wheels got the grease, and I learned early not to squeak. To be easy. To not need too much. It worked, in a sense. I put myself through community college, then finished my bachelor's at night school while working full-time. I moved to my own place at 23. I was independent, self-sufficient. I was also incredibly, crushingly lonely. And apparently, so forgettable that my own mother could go to brunch on my 30th birthday without even realizing what day it was. By 8 p.m., I'd started drinking. By 9, I was hate scrolling through social media, looking at photos of other people's birthday celebrations. By 10, I was crying into my 3rd glass of wine. At 10:30 p.m., Mira posted another story, a boomerang of her clinking glasses with Mom. Caption, best day with my favorite person. 2 hearts, that was when something inside me broke. I opened our family text chain and typed, thanks for the birthday wishes, everyone. I watched the 3 dots appear and disappear under Mom's name. Then nothing. 5 minutes later, my phone rang. Mom. Oh my God, Priya, I'm so sorry. Her voice was breathless with manufactured concern. It completely slipped my mind. You know how crazy things have been, Mira's apartment, Vikram's new job, the charity gala next week, you posted about brunch, I said flatly. You were all together. Today. On my birthday. Silence. That was spontaneous. Raj wanted to try this new place, and you didn't think to invite me to the spontaneous family brunch that happened to fall on my 30th birthday? Priya, don't be like this. You know you're always welcome. Am I? The wine made me brave. Because it doesn't feel like it. It feels like I'm the awkward reminder of your life before Raj. The kid who doesn't quite match the family photos. That's not fair. Her voice turned cold, the tone she used when I was being difficult. We've given you everything. Raj paid for your college, community college. While Vikram got a full ride to his private university that you supplemented with a car and an apartment, Vikram had better grades. I had a 3.8 GPA, Mom. Another silence. I'm sorry we forgot your birthday, she said finally, and I could hear the exhaustion in her voice. Not regret. Just tiredness at having to deal with me. We'll make it up to you. Dinner next week. Sure, I said, knowing it wouldn't happen. We hung up. She didn't call back. No one else called. I sat in my dark apartment, phone in my lap, wondering how I'd become so invisible to the people who were supposed to love me most. At 11:47 p.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, probably a spam call. But something made me pick up. Is this Priya Sharma? Yes? My name is Arjun Mehta. This is going to sound impossible, but I'm your biological father. I laughed. Actually laughed. Because of course this day would end with some scam caller pretending to be my long-lost father. Listen, I'm not interested in whatever. Your mother's name is Sandra Kapoor. She was born in Edison, New Jersey. We met at Rutgers University in 2004. She was studying communications. I was studying computer science. We dated for 8 months. I stopped laughing. We broke up in January 2005. She never told me she was pregnant. I only found out about you 3 years ago when I hired a private investigator. Why? The word came out as a whisper. Because I never forgot your mother. Because I spent the last 28 years wondering what if. Because I built a company and made more money than I ever dreamed of, but something was always missing. He paused. I've been trying to work up the courage to contact you. Your private investigator found your number 6 months ago. I've dialed it 100 times but never had the nerve to hit call. Why tonight? Because it's your birthday. I've known your birthday for 3 years, and every year I think about calling, and every year I lose my nerve. But 30 felt significant. Like if I didn't do it now, I never would. My hands were shaking. How do I know you're telling the truth? Your mother has a birthmark on her left shoulder blade. Shaped like a butterfly. She used to joke that it was her superpower, that she could fly if she really needed to. The wine glass slipped from my hand, landing on the carpet without breaking. You could have found that information somehow, I said, but my voice was weak. I have photos. Of us together. I can send them if you want. I can also send a DNA test kit overnight. We can verify everything. He hesitated. But Priya, I'm not calling to disrupt your life. I'm calling because I need to tell you something important, and I wanted you to hear it from me first. What? I'm sick. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. The doctors give me 6 months, maybe less. His voice was steady, but I could hear the underlying tremor. I have a company, a tech firm called Nexus Innovations. You might have heard of it. I had. Everyone had. Nexus Innovations was one of the fastest growing tech companies in the country. Cloud computing solutions, AI integration, government contracts. They'd just been valued at $8 billion. I don't understand, I said. I never married. Never had other children. I threw myself into work after your mother and I broke up. Built Nexus from nothing. And when I found out about you 3 years ago. He took a shaky breath. I changed my will. You're the primary heir. 70% of the company goes to you. The rest is split between key employees and charities. The room was spinning. That's not possible. It's very possible. It's done. My lawyers have the paperwork. I wanted to tell you in person, but I'm running out of time, and I needed you to know before. He trailed off. Before you die, I finished. Yes. This is insane. You can't just leave a company worth billions to someone you've never met. You're my daughter. You're the only family I have. His voice cracked. I know I have no right to claim you. I wasn't there. I didn't know, but I would have been if I'd known. Please believe that. I believed him. I don't know why, but I did. There's something else you should know, he continued. About your stepfather. Raj? Raj Malhotra has been trying to get funding from Nexus Innovations for a commercial real estate project for the last 10 years. Every year, he submits a proposal. Every year, we turn him down. The numbers don't work, and our research shows his company is over-leveraged and has a history of cutting corners on projects. Raj? My mind was reeling. Raj has been trying to get funding from you? From Nexus, yes. He doesn't know I'm the founder, I keep a low profile. But he's been persistent. Almost desperate, in recent years. I think he's in financial trouble. Why are you telling me this? Because when news breaks that you've inherited Nexus Innovations, your family is going to have reactions. Particularly Raj. And I wanted you to be prepared. I sat in silence, trying to process. My biological father was dying. He was leaving me a company worth billions. My stepfather had been trying to get money from that same company for a decade. And my family had forgotten my birthday. Can I meet you? I asked suddenly. Of course. Anytime. I'm in Manhattan. Presbyterian Hospital. Room 847. I'll come tomorrow. Thank you, Priya. You have no idea what that means to me. After we hung up, I sat in the dark for a long time. Then I called a car service. I was too drunk and too shaken to take the subway, and went to the hospital. Arjun Mehta looked nothing like I expected. Thin from illness, but with kind eyes and a smile that reminded me of my own when I looked in the mirror. He had photos ready, him and my mother at Rutgers, young and in love. The resemblance between us was undeniable. We talked until 4 a.m. He told me about his childhood, his parents who'd immigrated from Mumbai, his scholarship to Rutgers. He told me about meeting my mother at a campus coffee shop, how she'd been the first person to make him feel like he belonged in America. He told me about the breakup, mutual, amicable, 2 kids going different directions. I never knew, he said, tears in his eyes. I swear to you, Priya. If I'd known she was pregnant, I would have, I believe you, I said. He showed me his company. Not physically, he was too weak to leave the hospital, but virtually. Video calls with his executive team. Documents outlining the structure, the valuation, my inheritance. It was real. All of it. I have one request, he said as dawn broke over Manhattan. Don't tell your family yet. Not until after I'm gone. Give yourself time to process this. To decide what you want to do with it. And to prepare for their reaction. Why do you think they'll react badly? He gave me a sad smile. Because people show their true selves when money is involved. And from what you've told me about tonight, about how they treat you, I don't think they see you as family. They see you as the outsider. When you suddenly have billions, that's going to change. But not for the right reasons. He was right. I knew he was right. I spent every evening at the hospital for the next 4 months. Got to know my father, really know him. His favorite books, his terrible jokes, his regrets. He told me about building Nexus, about the early days coding in a studio apartment, about the first major contract that changed everything. I named the company Nexus because it means connection, he said one night. I'd lost my connection to your mother, to you. I was trying to build connections through technology instead. Ironic, isn't it? Poetic, I corrected. My family didn't notice my absences. I told Mom I'd taken up evening classes, she didn't ask what kind. I missed Vikram's birthday dinner, no one called to ask where I was. Mira got engaged, the text announcement came 3 days after she'd posted about it on social media. I was a ghost in their lives, and they didn't even realize it. Arjun died on a Tuesday in March, 4 months after that first phone call. I was holding his hand. His last words were, "Thank you for giving me 4 months of being a father. It was the best part of my life." I cried for 3 days. The will reading was scheduled for the following Monday. Arjun's lawyers contacted me, professional and kind. They explained everything, the inheritance, the structure, my options. Mr. Mehta was very specific that you should have full control, the lead attorney explained. He's left detailed recommendations for management, but the final decisions are yours. You can maintain current leadership, you can step into a role yourself, or you can sell your shares. It's entirely up to you. How long until this becomes public? I asked. The will is filed with the court. We estimate 48 hours before media picks it up. Nexus Innovations is a prominent company. The founder's death and his heir will be news. I asked them to notify my family formally. Not from me, from the law firm. I wanted to see their faces when they found out. The lawyer showed up at my mother's house on Wednesday afternoon. I know because Raj called me 30 seconds after they left. "Priya, come to the house. Now." I'd never heard his voice like that, sharp, almost frantic. I took the train to their house in Westchester, the one they'd bought when Raj's business was thriving. I still had a key, though I couldn't remember the last time I'd used it. They were waiting in the living room. All of them. Mom on the couch, face pale. Raj pacing. Vikram and Mira sitting on the ottoman, looking confused. Is it true? Raj demanded the second I walked in. Is what true? Don't play games. The lawyers came. They said you inherited Nexus Innovations from your biological father. They said you own 70% of the company. He was sweating. They said you're worth billions. Yes, I said simply. It's true. Silence. Then everyone started talking at once. Why didn't you tell us? Mom. How long have you known? Vikram. Can you help me with my student loans? Mira. We need to talk about the funding proposal, Raj, cutting through everyone else. The commercial development in Queens. I've been waiting for Nexus approval for years. Now you can approve it. I looked at him. You mean the proposal that's been rejected by Nexus for 10 years? Because the numbers don't work and your company has a history of cutting corners. His face went red. That's not. Who told you that? My father. Before he died. Your father? Mom's voice was shrill. Priya, your father was some college boyfriend who didn't stick around. His name was Arjun Mehta. You dated for 8 months. You never told him you were pregnant. I met her eyes. He spent 3 years looking for me after he found out I existed. He called me on my birthday, the birthday you forgot, to tell me he was dying and wanted to meet me. I spent the last 4 months of his life getting to know him. 4 months? Mom's voice cracked. You knew for 4 months and didn't tell us? Why would I? You forgot my birthday. You didn't notice when I missed family dinners. You don't call, you don't text unless you need something. I felt surprisingly calm. I was invisible to all of you. Why would I share the most important thing that's ever happened to me? That's not fair, Vikram said. Your family. I looked at each of them. When's my birthday, Vikram? He opened his mouth. Closed it. Looked at Mom. What's my job title? I asked Mira. She bit her lip. You work in administration? What's my favorite food, Mom? She stared at me, tears forming. Priya, you don't know. None of you know. Because you've never asked. I turned to Raj. And your proposal is still denied. The analysis was correct. Your company is over-leveraged, you cut corners, and the project isn't viable. You can't do this, he said, his voice dangerous. After everything I've done for you, you mean paying for 2 years of community college? You've mentioned it approximately 100 times. Consider us even. Even? He laughed, harsh. You're worth billions because of some man you never met, and you think we're even? I raised you, you tolerated me. There's a difference. Mom was crying now. Priya, please. We're family. We made mistakes, but we're still family. Am I? Are we? Because from where I'm standing, I'm only family now that I have money. I pulled out the folder the lawyers had given me. This is a trust distribution. $2 million. Split it however you want. It's more than generous considering you forgot my birthday and excluded me from family brunch the day I found out my biological father was dying. I set it on the coffee table. 2 million? Raj looked at the folder like it was poison. You're worth billions and you're offering us 2 million? I don't owe you anything. This is a gift. Take it or don't. I walked to the door. Priya. Mom followed me. You can't just leave like this. We need to talk about this as a family. We're not family, Mom. Not really. We're people who share DNA and history. But family shows up. Family remembers birthdays. Family doesn't exclude you from brunch and then expect you to bail them out financially. I said I was sorry about your birthday, you said you'd make it up to me. We never had that dinner. You never called. The only reason I'm here now is because I have something you want. Her face crumpled. That's not true. Isn't it? When's the last time you called me just to talk? Not to ask for help with something, not because you needed a favor. Just to talk. She couldn't answer. I left. The media explosion happened exactly as predicted. Nexus Innovations founder leaves billions to secret daughter. Tech billionaire's deathbed gift. From administrative assistant to tech heiress. My phone never stopped ringing. Reporters, old acquaintances, distant relatives I'd never heard of. I changed my number twice in the first week. My family tried everything. Mom showed up at my apartment crying, begging to talk. Vikram sent long text messages about family forgiveness. Mira sent me Pinterest boards for my future mansion with increasingly desperate messages about needing financial advice. Raj hired a lawyer to contest the will. It went nowhere. Arjun's documentation was airtight, and I was legally his daughter. I moved into a secure building. Hired a personal assistant to handle the chaos. Started attending Nexus board meetings, sitting in the seat my father had designed for me, with advisors he'd carefully chosen. They were brilliant people who'd loved Arjun and respected his vision. They welcomed me cautiously at first, then warmly when they realized I actually listened and asked good questions. Your father talked about you constantly these last few months, the CFO told me after my first board meeting. He was so proud. Said you were everything he'd hoped you'd be. I cried in the bathroom for 20 minutes. 6 months after Arjun's death, I made my first major decision as majority shareholder. I established the Arjun Mehta Foundation, dedicated to helping children of single parents access higher education, technology training, and mentorship. The initial endowment was $500 million. My mother saw the press release. She called from a number I hadn't blocked yet. "That's beautiful, Priya," she said, and for once, her voice sounded genuine. "Your father would be proud." He was proud, I corrected. He told me so. Every day for 4 months. I was wrong. About so many things. About how I treated you. About forgetting what mattered. She was crying. "I can't undo it. But I want you to know that I see it now. I see what I lost." "I'm glad you can see it, Mom. I really am. Is there any way we can start over?" I thought about it. About the little girl who'd sat alone on Disney rides. About the teenager who'd paid her own way through college. About the woman who'd spent her 30th birthday crying alone because her family forgot she existed. "Maybe," I said finally. "But not now. Not yet. I need time." "I understand." She paused. "For what it's worth, I really am sorry. And I'm proud of you. Even if I have no right to be. Thank you for saying that." We hung up. Maybe someday we'd rebuild something. Maybe not. But it would be on my terms now. I thought about Arjun often. About the father I'd had for 4 months versus the family I'd had for 30 years. About which one had seen me clearly, had valued me appropriately, had left me feeling loved rather than tolerated. He'd given me more than money. He'd given me proof that I was worth something. That being forgotten wasn't a reflection of my value but of others' blindness. On my 31st birthday, I woke up to an email from Arjun's lawyer. He'd arranged it before he died, a video message, to be delivered exactly 1 year after our first phone call. I watched it alone in my penthouse apartment, tears streaming down my face as my father spoke from beyond the grave. "Happy birthday, Priya. If you're watching this, I'm gone, and you've survived your first year as a billionaire. I hope it hasn't been too terrible." He smiled. "I hope you found joy in it. Not the money is just a tool. But the freedom it gives you to be exactly who you are without apology. You asked me once why I left you everything. The truth is, you were never really mine to leave. You were always your own person, strong, kind, resilient despite circumstances that tried to make you small. I just wanted to give you resources that matched your worth. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for this. You didn't ask for it, but you deserve it. All of it. And what you choose to do with it will be exactly right because it will be your choice. I wish I'd had 30 years with you instead of 4 months. But those 4 months were the greatest gift of my life. Thank you for letting me be your father, even briefly. Happy birthday, Beta. Make it count." I watched it 3 more times. Then I got dressed, went to the Arjun Mehta Foundation office, and spent my birthday doing what my father had spent his last months hoping I would do, making a difference. My phone rang throughout the day. The new executive team I'd hired, wishing me well. Board members sending gifts. My assistant with schedule updates. At 8 p.m., one more call. "Mom. Happy birthday, Priya." Just that. Nothing else. No requests, no manipulation. Just the words she should have said a year ago. "Thank you, Mom. I wanted you to know I marked it on my calendar. This year and every year going forward. I won't forget again. I appreciate that. I love you. I know I haven't showed it well. But I do. I know." And surprisingly, I meant it. We hung up. Maybe this was the start of something new. Maybe not. But I had learned the most valuable lesson of all. You can't make people see you if they redetermine to look away. But you can build a life so bright, so purposeful, so authentically yourself that their blindness becomes their loss, not yours. I was Priya Sharma. Daughter of Arjun Mehta. Heir to a tech empire. Founder of a foundation that would change thousands of lives. And most importantly, finally, completely visible, not because of what I had, but because I'd learned to see myself clearly. That was worth more than all the billions in the world.